Outdoor lifers, how you doing today? I'm just finishing up a wood haul here, cleaning up a birch that I cut down last year. Thought I'd get it picked up with the UTV. Let me ask you, have you been thinking about a UTV? Do you have an ATV and it just doesn't do things like this? And you've been curious if it's worth moving to the UTV? We've all been there, where the equipment we have just doesn't quite cut it anymore, or we want more. And I'll tell you, in my experience running a 70-acre property, an ATV is awesome. It's good for getting around. It can pull a trailer, but it definitely can't do what a UTV can do. So let's get these back up to the house, and then we'll talk about the benefits of a UTV, and specifically the Kubota XG850 Sidekick. Right on. All right, so you're thinking about a UTV, right? Or maybe you just had enough with your ATV, like I said before. And I'm really doing this because I actually watched GP with GP Outdoors video on his Polaris and thought, you know what, I should do this with my Kubota. I've had it for 2 years. I just got to the point for me where I was like, the ATV is great. And I've had an ATV for 15 years. But I was like, I need something more. And a lot of people buy the adventure vehicles and the ones that go mudding and can rip up and down the trails, but that wasn't the purpose. And so I always think when you go to buy something, you need to understand what's your main purpose. Yeah, it sucks that if all the boys are going out and doing a big mud run, I can't take this, but that's okay, because at the end of the day, when you're going to spend a big chunk of money, you really want it to go towards what you're going to utilize it the most for. And for me, that's managing the property. And as you saw at the start of the video, loading that wood into this is just awesome. It's, you know, it's 48-inch box with the bed down, and so you can easily fit your 16-inch pieces in, three long and probably 2 or 3 high, and it just makes it so easy. So again, I thought I'd talk about the features of the XG850, and it's XG for gas. Most of Kubota's utility vehicles are diesel, but I went gas because I wanted a bit more speed. And the top end speed on this is 64 kilometers an hour, 40 miles per hour for my American viewers. Most of the diesel stuff's around 20, 23 miles per hour. So I want a bit more speed. And the big reason is I ripped down to the convenience store. It's nice to be able to be on the highway, which is 80 kilometers an hour. So it's nice to be able to almost get up to speed on the highway and not bother people. Plus it is just nice to go faster in the trails than not. So that's why I went the gas model. Again, awesome features on this thing. It can tow 2,000 pounds on normal ground. On hilly terrain, 1,550, so that probably applies to my property a bit more. It's got a cargo bed capacity of 1,000 pounds. That's more than enough to do the things you need to do. As you saw, I have a bunch of firewood in here, and it's nice because it's a 48-inch box with the tailgate down, and then you can get your 16-inch pieces in, 3 long and probably 2 or 3 high. So that's fantastic. Tongue weight on both the front and the back, and that's a nice feature. It's got a hitch on the front, so you can push and pull things from the front, which is a really nice feature. Both have tongue weights of 110 pounds, so that's great. It's got a dump box. It would have just come with the ROPS, but we'll talk about the features that I added onto it in a second. It's got obviously 2-wheel and 4-wheel drive. It's got a locking diff here at the front where you just push a lever down, then press a button and it locks in. So really good there. 2-wheel to 4-wheel is really easy. But again, for the most part, it's just a utility vehicle, right? No radio, no doors. It's not enclosed, and that's something I'll come back to at the end, so make sure you stay to the end. But yeah, it's a simple vehicle. You can beat it up a bit. It's not meant for looks, it's meant for utility, and that's the way I went. If you're looking for non-utility, if you're looking for fun, then this definitely isn't the model for you. So yeah, so that's kind of the features. I thought I'd talk about what I added onto this. Okay, things I added to the Kubota. I added a winch, 4,500 pound winch. Awesome, synthetic line. Has a controller in the dash, also has a controller plug right here where you can attach the remote, come out and be away from the vehicle to winch from the front. So that's number one. Number two, I added the sport roof. So I didn't want to just be open. I'm okay with it being open, or I thought it was. Again, we'll talk about that at the end. But it's nice to have the covered roof. I added the work lights at the front, 2 at the front and 1 at the back. Awesome. Definitely do that. I don't know about you, but I don't just shut down because it's light out or because it gets dark out. I like to work in the dark, and hunting, a lot of the stuff happens after dark, right? Getting the animal out of the bush or getting up to the hunt camp. Super awesome to have the work lights both on the front and the back. That is huge. I also added the electronic dump box. So again, the dump is easy. You can lift it by hand, but I'd like to just be able to do it with a button from the cab. So that was a nice option to add. And the last thing I added, and I'll just go around the back here. So I added the box extender, and I think it's just absolutely awesome. Gives you basically another 12 inches of play, which is really nice for the firewood haul, right? Now you can get your 16-inch logs in 3 long and a couple high. So it's really handy. Some people say it gets in the way, but again, if you just undo these guys, it comes right off. So it's simple to take it off. It's nice to pivot it up. You can have it up to slide things in. You can turn it all the way in to divide your cargo box. I think this is an awesome add. So I would fully recommend that. And I think that's about it for what I did add. Now, of course, what I didn't add. I think if I could do this again, I'd get the windshield. Not the doors, but the windshield. And why I would do that is there's been a couple hunting days where I'm in the bush and it's raining and I get soaked. And I get to the tree stand and I'm absolutely soaking wet. Or coming home on the highway at night, it's just hitting you in the face. And then the last one actually is going down to the store, taking a couple bumblebees in the face. So you always got to make sure you got glasses on so you don't get something in the eye. But aside from that, that's really the only thing I would change with regards to what I didn't add on as extra features. But yeah, those are the extra features. And that's that. Let's take a look in the cab and go over just the space and things like that. That's how I fit. So again, like I said, when any rocking or sudden stops, you're gonna hit your knee here, and then you move your knee in here and you're gonna hammer it on this guy. Lots of head space. It's good. Tilt on the steering. So again, up. I like it down a bit. Has power steering. I think I forgot to mention that. Has power steering, very nice. Moves very nice, very easy to drive. For the most part, if you're 6 foot and under, you're gonna be fine in here. Lots of room for your passenger as well. Again, the bench seats, yeah, they're not the best, but you know, what can you do? It's a utility vehicle. It's still comfy. Like, I don't get in here and don't think it's not comfy. It's not one of those Can-Am or Polaris rip in the bush, total bucket seat type of situations. No headrest. You can buy the headrest. I didn't, and I don't really think I would. You can show the storage here. So again, you've got under seat storage. I normally have a couple ratchet straps in here. They're on the floor. And then a lot of times I put my plans and stuff in here. Problem with keeping stuff outside, of course, mice will find it, use it. So I've got a whole nother video on that coming up, but just be mindful that outdoor life involves mice. But very handy storage, very easy access to flip the seat down. And then you've got a nice glove box here. Very easy to use. And you can lock that, so that's nice for valuables. The dash is very simple. You do have some elements here that'll tell you if you got problems. It's a nice little indicator of what's going on. You've got a 12-volt port here. Your pedals, there's the diff lock and the diff lock button to hold it in case you don't want to just step on it. 4-wheel, 2-wheel drive. You do have to be stopped to make those changes, but again, goes in very simple, comes out very simple. Again, a little dirty, but that's just how I roll. Can keep 2 water bottles, no problem. Yeah, that's a Leaf Yeti. The Leafs are terrible. They suck, I know. Please don't make fun of me. Again, seat belts, which is great, and I always wear mine, partially because it's good in a rollover, and 2, if you don't, it governs the engine. It governs the engine to about, I think probably about 15 kilometers an hour, maybe not even that much. And it lets you know too by sounding an audible alarm, which is very annoying. So put your seatbelt on. And no mesh on this one, GP. All right, let's just do a little walk around so you can see the vehicle. Nice hitch of the back. Open up the hood. Nice and simple in here, very easy access, probably needs a little bit of cleaning. Your screen, very easy to clean. Simple. Get the dump box open for you. So there we go in here. Again, easy access to your dipstick. Places to fill. Pretty simple. This goes up a bit higher, but because I have the wood in the back, I haven't put it up all the way. But again, makes it very easy to get at this stuff. No problem. Here's where you fill up. Nice big cap. Easy to fill. Has a tie-in. That's good. I'll show you some clips of her in use, and then we'll get to the things I don't like and our final thoughts. Right on. All right, let's talk about the things I don't like. I already told you about hitting my knee, so that's one. Number 2, when you want to put it into gear, if it's idling high, you've got to wait for that idle to come down, or you grind the gears. Sometimes that takes a couple seconds, sometimes that takes 10. Depends how high you've revved it. So like, this happens when you're doing a 3-point turn. You're driving forward, you want to put it in reverse, you got to wait it to come down. Then you want to go from reverse to forward, you got to wait for that idle to come down. And I'll show you here what that sounds like. So, and I'll just simulate it by revving the engine high. So that happens all the time if you don't wait. And again, sure, you want to wait a second, but sometimes it's 5, 8, 10 seconds you've got to wait for that idling to come down. I think it's got to get below 1300 or 1400. If it doesn't get below that and you go to change, you will grind the gears. So that's number 2. Number 3 is clearance, especially when you've got a full cargo bed. This thing I think is normally around 8-inch clearance to the main structure near the rear axle. But when you're loaded, it's probably 6.5 to 7, and I'll show you that. Check it out. So those really are the 3 main things that I don't like. Other than that, and maybe putting a windshield in, there's nothing I'd really change. It's done what I've wanted it to do. It's met my needs. It hauls, you can load, it works, it starts in -40. It does. I don't use it much in the winter, but it does. And it's just a workhorse. That's what it is. I bought a workhorse and I got a workhorse. Why did I go Kubota? That's a good question. I went Kubota because I've had no problems with my tractor and the dealers in town. Most dealerships in the North Bay area are all on the outskirts in Sturgeon Falls or Powassan, and that makes it troublesome to get to. So I'd say reliability of my tractor, the fact the dealer is in town, and 3, to be honest, I'd like to keep brand specific for the channel. It's nice to have orange all around. So yeah, I think that's it. Again, overall, if you're looking for a utility vehicle for managing your homestead, managing your property, I have no issues with this. I haven't had a single problem, aside from some of the little dislikes. Doesn't help that I'm 6'3", but whatever. So yeah, I give it a thumbs up. I'm all for it. It's definitely not gonna be you're in your bush, mud bogging, ripping around, taking jumps vehicle. But if you need to get work done, this is it. All right, I'm gonna go dump that firewood and get to splitting. Hope you have an awesome day. See what I mean? Oh, that's another thing. When you leave the parking brake on, it tells you audibly. Also, when you don't have your seatbelt on, it tells you audibly, like this. Here. Okay, I'm gonna go dump this now. I almost forgot. Remember, no matter what you do, get outside. Right on. Bye now.